Hey everybody, David here with Adventure Ready Running. Today I'm going to be talking about setting up the GoPro Fluid Pro AI. It's a gimbal. I'm going to call it a gimbal. It's a lot easier. This is it, the Fluid Pro AI. We're trail runners and the gimbal, game changer. If you're having any trouble with vibration while you're running, the ability to just be able to move your hand around without having to chest mount it or head mount it, just to be able to get some smooth action, is game changer. The gimbal is not easy to set up. The challenge with it is you can get it set up and it will work, but it won't be an optimized setup. So what does that mean? I mean, the gimbal will be functional, but the motors might be running a lot more, which is going to decrease your battery life. But I'm here to help. So just take a deep breath and just know it's not easy. There's three things I want to point out with this arm. This is the tilt arm mount attach point. You want the lens on the far side. It's contradictory to what's on the box, and it's contradictory to what's on the back of the box. These steps still have the lens closer to the arm, which is closer to the tilt motor. The support manual, see, here's the arm. The lens is on the other side of the arm, so it's farther away from the tilt motor. And I've confirmed all of these steps that I'm showing you today with support. So yeah, if you guys get stuck, go to the support manual, reach out to GoPro Support at support@gopro.com, or keep visiting this channel, because I'm going to be vetting a lot of these setup steps so that you guys can get this thing set up and optimized correctly. When I got it, the mount position was all the way on the right, so it made it difficult to balance just because I was moving this tilt arm all the way to the extremes and I just wasn't getting a good balance. So then I finally noticed, okay, let's put this in the middle. And maybe for your camera it comes and it's working fine, but this is just something to check. If you're having trouble, move this manual position around. So I'm going to put it in the center. That balances pretty well for the GoPro 13. So the other thing was the finger mount. For a GoPro 13, you don't need the finger mount. So after I had it balanced and everything with this finger mount, reading back through the manual, it shows the camera without the finger mount. And I'm like, oh, that's curious. So yeah, so you can go ahead and take off this finger mount if it's installed. It might not even be installed on yours, but it was on mine. So the GoPro 13 can go straight on this mount. So remember, and you want the lens away from the arm. So lens away from the arm. If you're having trouble balancing, just move this manual position on the arm. I like mine to be flush against the outside of the arm. So before you start setting up the gimbal, you want to make sure it's powered down. So go ahead and power down your gimbal. You want the gimbal screen to be blank, because you don't want to be doing any setup or balancing when it's powered up, because then you're fighting against the motors and you could damage the system. So go ahead and power it down. And then the other things to check are get the roll axis. So this is the roll axis. So this is the tilt. This is the roll axis. So there's just a plastic knob. If you rotate it counterclockwise, so there's a plastic knob right in there. If you rotate it counterclockwise, it unlocks. So now it's free to move. The other axis is the bottom axis here for left and right. So there's a toggle switch on the back that unlocks that. We're just going to keep it locked for balancing. You will want to unlock it before you turn it on, but there shouldn't be any balancing that you need to do when this is unlocked. That's controlled by the factory, so you only have to worry about balancing these two axes, the tilt axis and the roll axis. Let's balance the roll axis first. So let's go ahead and put our camera on. It just slides in. We can just go ahead and set that to any position that we want, because we're not worried about balancing that yet. So you can see the camera is falling. The roll axis is just falling down. So let's go ahead and unlock that with the tab on the back. So since it's falling to the right, we want to push it to the left. So just go ahead and push that to the left, still dropping a little bit. So if we push it even farther, see now we can see it's dropping to the left. So just go ahead and move that back a little bit. Still dropping a little to the right. So that's pretty good. The roll axis is coming back to center, either direction that we move it. So let's just lock that in now. So the tilt axis. This one, you're going to see a lot of people on YouTube saying that this is fine. That they're balancing it with the lens pointed forward. And specifically in the setup manual, it says balance it with the lens pointed up. So I've confirmed this with GoPro Support, and as well as it's mentioned in the user manual, you want this lens pointed straight up in the ceiling. So let's go ahead and start balancing that. So just unlock the tab in the back. Okay, so let's push it all the way back. See now it's dipping to the back. So let's just push it a little forward. And it's dropping a little forward. There, that's pretty balanced. You don't want it dipping forward or backward when you tap on it. Let's go ahead and lock that in. Okay, so the lens is pointed straight up. This is the proper balancing. If your camera can't hold its position like this after it's powered down, then you need to go through the balancing steps. You can also do a test right now. You can move, I can move it around. This is powered off. It shouldn't be flopping to one side. The camera shouldn't be flopping forward. See, it should be maintaining its position. I mean, it's not going to track like it will when the gimbal is powered on, but when you get done moving it from side to side, forward and backward, it should come back and be relatively in the same position. Okay, that's pretty balanced. All right, so I think we're ready to power this up. So be sure to unlock this bottom axis, this left to right axis, and now you can see this is freely able to move from side to side. So now we're ready to power it up. It's just a little power button on the side. You're going to want to hold this for a couple of seconds. There. And now the gimbal is properly calibrated. So when you power it up, to know if it's properly calibrated, you want it to go through sensing and calibration, and you want the lens pointed forward. That's how you know you've gotten a properly balanced and set up camera. And then the other thing to test is if you turn it off, the camera shouldn't move. So if you power it down, holding the button, it's powered off, the camera didn't move at all. So what you'll see if it's improperly balanced is it'll be tilted a little bit in one direction or another, and when you power it down, the camera will then return to a kind of a neutral straight down position. So we know this camera is fully calibrated now and balanced. And now we can see we go forward or backward. The camera is still pointing straight ahead. We go from side to side, left to right. The gimbal's maintaining a nice, clean, straight ahead shot for just great fluid motion. We are trail runners. We're like, how do we store this thing when we don't have it in our hand? What you want to do as far as the GoPro, you want to make sure it's powered down. And then the other thing is you want to lock this back and forth axis. Lift up on this tab, make sure it locks in. And then you want to turn the roll axis, this back axis, clockwise until you get to that tab again, and just give it a little bit of a push. And it locks in. Again, your tilt axis is still going to move around, but this is a pretty stable position to be transporting the camera. So, and you might have saw this in the background. This works great. This is just a Solomon running vest. So you got your water over here, snacks, a pack in the back. But this other water pouch, which also has a handy safety strap, works amazing for the gimbal. So I just take the gimbal, I slide it in here, just get it past the handle. And you can also take this safety strap and just wrap it around top of this roll access mount. I'm very comfortable running in this thing. It hardly moves at all, and it's a very secure place to keep the camera. So one other thing with trail running is the USB-C mounts, because I'm not using the AI USB-C or the charging. So what I did is I grabbed a couple silicone USB-C plugs, and then you can put those plugs right in the USB-C ports, because you definitely don't want any water getting in these ports. The rest of the unit is pretty solid as far as getting wet. I mean, it's not waterproof, but if you're just getting light rain or mist, you're going to be fine. If you're getting a lot of rain, you're going to want to be really careful using this in the rain. But at least now I'm keeping the ports totally protected, so we're not getting any snow or water in there. One other thing I'd like to mention with the mount, we're not using the finger mount. Since it's a GoPro 13, which has the mount built on the bottom. There's another option for the GoPro 13. It's magnetized on the bottom. Cool new accessory from GoPro. Allows you to mount the magnet mount on here, and then you can just stick the GoPro straight on top without having to screw it in. So it's super handy. If I want to store the gimbal away, pop the camera off, magnetize it to my head or magnetize it to my chest, just to be able to get different shots without having to unscrew, rescrew. It's very quick to just pop it around. So just found out about the magnet on the bottom of this. I was setting it on this whiteboard here, and then I went to pull it up and I could feel the magnet pull, and I'm like, what is going on? So yeah, I did a little research and found out that you can get this magnet mount for the gimbal. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for a lot more of our running videos as we start using the gimbal. Just got the gimbal, done a couple of videos, seeing some amazing results. I do have Hypersmooth turned on the camera. I have it set to 4K. I have it set to 60 frames a second and wide shot. So this camera supports over 5K even for resolution. But if you're doing any post-processing with like DaVinci or Movavi, they don't handle very well dealing with higher resolutions in 4K, especially if you're pushing it to YouTube. 4K is the best. Definitely set it to 60 frames a second and wide shot. You're going to get some great video to be able to post edit afterwards. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you on the trails.